guys, this is Delphine with the CultureQuirk channel. So for my first Japanese drama review, I just had to do this one. A lot of you have probably already seen it. It's an absolute classic, Hana Yori Dango. Although it's technically not the first drama I've ever seen, it might as well have been, as it really brought me into the wonderful world of J-dramas. You might be familiar with the manga, although I was never a fan, so it's definitely not a prerequisite to watch this show or anything. And the show often does feel like an anime come to life. It's funny, there are great actors, and if you don't mind a little bit of romance, it's definitely a good sort of first drama to watch. So let's get right into Hana Yori Dango. The story might seem a little bit stereotypical and unrealistic, but I think that's what brings it a certain amount of charm. It's sort of the classic manga situation. Maki no Tsukushi is a girl that comes from a pretty poor family, but she's sent to attend this elite school that's full of ridiculously rich and pretty snobby students. The four most influential of these students, a group going by the name of F4, are not only super rich, but handsome and popular as well, and they essentially lord over the school. They are Mimasaka Akira, Nishikado Sojiro, Hanazawa Rui, and their leader Domyoji Tsukasa. Domyoji is especially aggressive and arrogant, and he targets specific students to torment to show off F4's power. By a twist of fate, our main character Makino becomes one of these targets, but for the first time in F4's history, Makino actually fights back. So that's how the story kicks off, and it spirals into a flurry of love triangles, comic misunderstandings, and lots of outrageous situations. I won't give anything away, but the ending of the first season, in my opinion, was very satisfactory, and while it does sort of give you a sense of closure, it also really sets you up for the second season, which I might have liked the second season even better than the first. In it, all the old characters are back, along with several new characters for more laughs and tears. There was also a full-length movie that takes place after the second season to sort of wrap up the story, so the entire series was a really big hit in Japan. Okay, now let's look at what was good about this show and then maybe what didn't work so well. There were so many things I loved about this drama, although it's kind of hard to explain why it's so addicting. The characters were really great, and even more than that, I think the actors had a lot of great chemistry. You don't really like F4 too much at first, especially Domyoji. I hated Domyoji at the beginning of the show, and I didn't understand how he could possibly become a love interest, but somehow, as the show progresses, those feelings get completely reversed. Domyoji is always angry, but it becomes pretty comical, and his clumsy manner in showing his affection is actually pretty touching. I love the way that Matsumoto Jun played him. Hanazawa Rui was actually one of the first J-drama characters that I totally fell in love with. Not only do I like Oguri Shun, the guy who plays him, but he also has that sort of mysterious and quiet, yet very kind and caring personality that can make any girl melt. Sojiro is more of a side character, but I still think he has a lot to bring to the show, and I really liked his character and story, especially in the first season. Akira is also a little bit more in the background, and he's the nice, peaceful one who's always trying to get everyone to get along despite all the drama. Poor guy. F4's relationship honestly seems like it wouldn't really work because their personalities are so different, but somehow their chemistry is really good, and to me their friendship was really believable. Maki no Tsukushi is one of my favorite female characters in J-dramas ever, and the girl who plays her, Maui Noe, is so cute. It would also seem like Makino would never be able to get along with anyone in F4, but somehow it works, and I think that's what keeps this show so interesting, is that it's all these sort of unbelievable circumstances, and yet it somehow all makes sense. Makino's crazy family, who is really poor but always full of life, along with all the friends and enemies at the school, all bring more color and humor to the show. Overall, there are so many laughs and ridiculous situations that keeps this show very fun to watch. Okay, we'll admit the show can get pretty frustrating at times. A lot of the unfortunate situations wouldn't happen if the characters could just communicate better, and all the misunderstandings is just a little much sometimes. The love triangles can be pretty tiring too, as someone always loses. Super romantic dramas don't usually appeal to me because of the cheesiness of it all, and honestly there are a lot of those elements in Hana Yori Dango. Sometimes I feel that the actors overact a little bit too, but a lot of that is probably intentional since it's supposed to be kind of like a cartoon. Yet somehow all of these negative elements that I usually hate didn't really bother me in this show. Something about it just sort of sets it apart from other romantic dramas. The flow of the story and the chemistry of the actors just works so well and really make Hana Yori Dango exceptional. Ultimately, ultimately, this was a great romantic comedy that has some lovable characters and some really fun humor. I would strongly recommend this one. It's really one of my favorite J-dramas of all time. I'd also like to mention that you would think that this is more of a show for girls, but I've definitely known a couple of guys who got really addicted with this as well. So I don't know what it is, but I do think this show is just really special. I'm not saying it's for everyone, of course, but if you've never seen a J-drama and you would like to see something lighthearted, funny, and romantic, Hana Yori Dango is the perfect start. So that was my first drama review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.